What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Noodle Time. This is episode 128. I'm your host, Mark Segovia, alongside Andres and OSG. What's going on, OSG?
What's up, bro? 412 miles in, trip number one. How you doing, man? Good to talk to you, man.
Nah, I'm good, man. Obviously we could be better, but I mean we're here today, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
but we'll have enough time to talk about that. Andres, how you doing, bro?
Hey man, pretty good. Still a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth after last week, but hey man, we move on, and there's still plenty of season ahead of us.
We're
Well, at
all
least
sour.
yours tastes is sour because mine tastes like crap. So but obviously that's going to be like the majority. I think that's going to be like the majority of the first half of the show today. Obviously, the disastrous start to the season against our bitter rivals, FC Frisco. Obviously, it's never great. It's never good to lose a Texas Derby, obviously, to those guys, and especially one at home, and especially to a team that came off having a horrendous season last year, only winning one road game last year and basically matching that total this year already by taking away 3 points at our house. But again, it's tough. It's tough to find where to start because obviously there's so many things that went wrong prior to the match. Obviously during the match and and all things.
Well, what went wrong prior to the match?
I mean, just prior to the match, I feel like, obviously the team isn't complete. We talked about the offseason acquisitions. I mean, if this is the complete team, which obviously we know it's not, then then we're going to be in for a season full of hurt. But we'll get to that. But let's shine a little bit of light that was there.
Ooh, okay.
Let's shine a little bit of light because that's going to go quick, and then obviously we'll get to all the negatives. So, obviously our first view of Jack McGlynn as a Dynamo. Obviously, my personal opinion, I was pleasantly surprised. I love the ambition. I love the style he played. He was really up there. He was really him and Obafemi, the young defender who took over for Eric, who was injured. Basically, the only two bright spots for me in the whole entire game. But yeah, McGlynn showed a lot of charisma on the pitch, a lot of style, a lot of flair, a lot of he showed maturity. Obviously, he's a 20-year-old kid, but he showed a lot of maturity. He was not scared. It seemed, to be honest, like he wanted to take over the game, which is something that I look forward to. I mean, obviously, when you have a player who we think can provide a lot for our team, you want that player to be able to express themselves on the pitch, and I think he did a really good job for his first outing as a Dynamo player. Andres, I'm gonna go to you. Your first thoughts on Jack McGlynn and obviously Obafemi coming in as a late entry in the starting 11.
Honestly, Jack McGlynn and Femi, those were the highlight players for a lot of people, myself included, when we did the post game for Foxtrot game day. And honestly, I've been telling OSG and Juan Pereira in the press box the whole game. I was like, there's no way that kid is a 21-year-old because he just plays with absolute confidence, as just like able to beat everyone else. And he even had a chance at goal. He literally hit the post, and probably another one that led to FC Dallas' goal that could have been a foul, but it's not here or there. Like, honestly, just the amount of confidence this kid has. And the Dynamo set out the graphic because even though he already had like over 100 caps for Philadelphia, he hit 100 MLS appearances that first game of the season. So it's just incredible. Obviously, that experience helps him a lot to develop, but he hit the ground running, honestly. It was just kind of unfortunate that he didn't get a goal or that kind of assist because he was just able to do it here and there. The biggest surprise for me, honestly, Olafemi Godesu, like I wasn't expecting him to start. No one did really, and he had to step up because Svinchenko had to be out. And I feel like he took advantage of the opportunity very well. He just bowled out as much as he could. There were only a couple of instances where I see him make a couple mistakes in the second half, but other than that, he was just like absolutely incredible considering the circumstances because it was his first MLS start after seeing some time with those last year, and he took that advantage of opportunity. And I'm looking forward to seeing him play some more.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you have opportunities that come at you, especially ones that you don't predict to be there, because I mean, obviously, I didn't know anything about Shevchenko being out or having any kind of injury prior to obviously looking at the lineup and wondering why he wasn't on the match day 18, right? Nonetheless, the starting 11. But I mean, obviously, he grabbed the opportunity, he took the bull by the horns, and hey, he might be when Shevchenko comes back, whether it be this game or later on, he might be giving Barlow a run for his money as far as being one of a starting center back for us up until when we ever get a replacement for Mikael or depending on how this kid does. He could be our quote unquote Kouassi for obviously who that is, a young center back for Barcelona who came out of nowhere and is now starting for Barcelona. OSG, let me ask you this, man. When you saw that Shevchenko wasn't going to start, and obviously Escobar is our excuse me, is our starting left back, and obviously he has been injured the preseason. Barlow was going to be starting because obviously we had just sold Mikael, so the back four that we had so much confidence in because they were always there. It was only Griffin Dorsey. Um, what was your expectations after you saw that lineup come up?
So let's go into context prior. We knew Escobar wasn't playing. Steres was going to be on the left. We expected Eric. We knew Mikel was gone, so we threw in Bartlow, right? And then we were like, all right, and then we lost Mikel, and then we lost Eric. So now it's Bartlow, and like we've been talking about Femi because he signed that first team contract recently. Like, is he going to get opportunity? Is he going to get first team minutes? And then he kind of started getting back into the conversation. So it was, yes, a surprise. Yes, a surprise. And because Ben is stubborn. Ben is just so freaking stubborn. But yes, it's a surprise, and it's forthcoming. I get to witness Femi. Is his nickname Femi? Play last season for Dos plenty of times in person. Andres got to see him a couple times as well, and the man just is. He holds his position. He does a good job, and so yes, there was a surprise and was not expected. There was kind of hint to is he going to have the opportunity, but man, did he ever stand up and stand out and just take the place of the position that he of not of Mikel, but just to stand up and just do a damn good job and take notice and make himself notice of the fans. And then afterwards in the interviews and just even just on his own on the socials, just he sounds like a professional and acts like a professional already. And that's one game, so I'll take it easy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's obviously the first game of the season. I mean, people are going to be rusty, but I mean, but you like to see the young kids um, have bright spots, especially in a
Yeah,
game where
yeah.
we had so much negativity and so much bad things happen against us with the ref calls and obviously the blunder that Barlow gave up at the back of the in the back end of our 18, giving up the Musa goal and things of that nature. But obviously for two young players to have a to start off the right foot, and get their season going, and hopefully this is just the beginning of something bigger for both of them, depending on what happens with both of them. Like you
I will
said,
say real quick, if Eric starts this weekend, which we believe he will, Femi is starting on the left side of Eric over Bartlow. And I think that's just not because of the performance per se, but because I think it was situated that way with Femi be on the left, Bartlow be on the right. You wouldn't have put Bartlow on the right if you didn't plan on him being on the left more with Mikhail leaving from the left. Eric isn't going nowhere. He's on the right. So kind of it played in, and I hope to see Femi on the left and next to Eric this Sunday against Inter Messi.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Obviously, if you obviously follow Dynamo Dos and all that stuff, and you hang around the club a lot more than I do, so you might have a better understanding of what Olsen is planning on doing. But I mean, like I said, and we'll get to Inter Miami and all this, and the game coming.
That's later. That part's
Um,
later.
but yeah, as like I was saying, you know, obviously Femi having a good start to the season, McGlynn having a great start to the season, you know, obviously the courage and the confidence that just drips off of him is obviously noticeable. And the shot that he took outside from 30 yards out that hit the post was a great shot by him, and you know, unfortunately it didn't go in because it would have been an amazing first goal for him to have with us. But just another thing that I saw prior to, during the game as well, was just the disconnection between the midfield and the top three in the upper half. There was no connection no chemistry involved as far as connections, as far as passing goes. Obviously the Bossy goal is you know something that obviously Frisco messed up on, but I mean obviously I round of applause for Bossy for taking advantage of that situation and knocking it in. But I mean other than that, man, I mean Ponce didn't get any quality passes to make anything happen. Sebas, I mean, he was out there, he was grinding, he was trying to do his thing, you know. So I'm not gonna really crap on his performance too much because I mean he was out there trying to create stuff, but I mean it just wasn't in it for him for that game. Who else was out there? I can't remember the other midfielder that was out there. Besides not Arthur McGlynn, and who was the other off?
Aliyu. That's all
Aliyu, I can't forget it. Aliyu, I forgot. You guys are the fan club.
Oh, that wasn't a joke.
The presidents of the Aliyu Army. So I mean, you know, look,
One didn't show up like the Aliyu performance. Oh shit! My bad. What?
Unfortunately, Aliyu is in mid-season form already. And now, whether that form is good or not, I mean, I'll leave it up to the audience and the fan base. But obviously, I think everybody knows my side on the Aliyu situation. But I'll talk to you OSG because I know you're a big backer of Aliyu.
Whoa! A big backer. You need to relax.
You stayed on the Aliyu bandwagon a little longer than
hold on. No,
So-
yes, yeah, absolutely. But you know, just hope we'll turn it around. But also the same judge at the same time.
No, I'll give you that. I mean, so
All right.
is it? I have to ask. I mean, you know, obviously we saw the debut of Nicolas Lodero. He came in. He had a little bit of a spark, but obviously he just can't. He barely got into training camp, so I mean, we couldn't really expect too much of him. But being the savvy veteran that he is,
Yeah.
you know, I think during the time period that he showed up, I mean, that's when we had a little bit of an attack, a little bit of a connection, and a 1-2 with Ponce up top, whatever, and all that good stuff. So, does he start over Aliyu? My question to you, OSG, and then Andres, obviously, I want your opinion about it as well after OSG. Do we tinker with the formation so that way we make sure we get Lodero in the starting 11 over Aliyu?
Absolutely not, per se. Who are we playing? We're playing Inter Miami. Miami 70 possession team like we are. They're going to counter. They're going to push. They're going to play our game. We're required to be defensive in this game. Ben is defensive. Ben is stubborn. So are you asking Ben? You asking me? Anybody would love to bench Aliyu right now. Anybody, right? Anybody but one person, but maybe two. Okay. Anybody. I would love to see what Exxon could have done with minutes against Dallas. See, I would love to start him. Well, Lodero is not defensive at all. He's very creative, very attacking oriented. So, is there a way we can put him on the field and make up for his lack of defense against Inter Messi? Because this is going to be a friggin' battle back and forth, no matter if it's on your own field or not. It doesn't sit well in the tactics for Lodero to start this game. So Aliu sits right more defensive, but I'm pulling Aliu at halftime, and he's out the friggin' door. And then Lodero can play the 45 minutes, and then we just play this game where we're fighting 3-2, 3-3, 4-3. Whoever would score the last goal wins at the last second. A full 90 starting, I don't know, and I'd rather have Lodero in later than earlier as well. So if there was something better to do, but God, it's just so tough. Aliu, 45 minutes and you're done. Defend. I don't know what he can do. He won't go forward. And Andreas was at the game. We counted. We were like baseball batting average. He was 0 for 1, 0 for 2, 0 for 3, 0 for 4. And we went up to over 7 before Juan looked at me again. I was like, bro, I stopped counting. I'm done. He's like, this dude struck out the whole game. It's a double header, and he struck out every time. So, like, I'm giving him the hardest time now as well. So it's hard. Oh man, it's hard. But Aliu needs to be benched. Need to find something different. Exxon needs to be given minutes. Lodero can be used in the proper situations. What do we do this weekend? Can Seba Coalition can play on the left side, or Bossi play on the left side, and Lodero play that cam, and then we make up for it. Ponce is going to be very defensive and back. But what are we going to do? This game doesn't sit well for us.
Mm-hmm.
Putting more attacking players in, we have to defend at the same time. So.
Andres, I'll pose the same question to you. I mean, what do you think we do in the situation with Aliu? Because I mean, obviously, if Aliu is not going to be a part of the attacking prowess, we're very light at. I mean, with Inter Miami, we need to score goals.
We also going to need legs because
Yeah.
Miami has plenty of them, and Aliu has them. If one of the traits Aliu has it's like it's just legs. He's really not able to get tired out in most occasions. And I do agree with OSG that just based on the circumstances that we have right now, it's just kind of tough to bench him, even though everyone wants him benched. Like obviously, the last game was fairly evident that even though he's just like able to start plays, really everything just breaks down in the final third, and he's like unable to break through or just find a solution, because we were just like
there's no one able.
Over and over again.
Won't.
Like he won't stab. Like he won't go through. He's gonna pass it back, or the ball's gonna get like turned over. But yeah,
it's obviously. No, go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm just.
No, yeah, like I was gonna say that obviously, like last year he had a ton of goal contributions. I'm not gonna say anything against that, but we've been seeing this last year. You could say the year before, and like earlier now. I hope it changes after that game, but the way he looks like right now, like he's not contributing a lot, and I feel like we might just be in the same situation last year when it came to us lacking the goals to win games, and yeah, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you guys are saying, but obviously, the reason why I bring up starting Lodero, if it's a possibility, obviously, I think if you start Lodero, obviously, I don't think he's going to full 90, right? But because of how offensive Inter Miami is, and obviously with Messi leading the charge there, we can't really allow them to score first and then score second because we don't have the offensive players to come back and catch up. Mark,
let me question this to you though. That's why I mentioned not Lodero to the left wing. If you bench Aliu, you don't put Lodero on the left wing. You put somebody else, and you put Labelle. So do you put Seba or do you put Bossi over there to make that replacement, to make it affordable to understand, like, hey, we need to make this change also as well. Aliu sucks ass on offense, and we all know that, and he sucks all the wind out of that fucking fart box. But it's what do you do right now to make that change to sell the?
This is the reason why I think you can make the change, because honestly, if you put Lodero in you're going to play 10v10 because Messi doesn't play defense either at this stage of his career either.
That's true. They can stand there and
I mean, you're 10v10. Now the obviously where the difference is where we're comparing Messi to Ladero is obviously that Messi, when he gets the opportunity and he's given the ball, he's gonna do something amazing with it because he's in midseason form already. I mean, the guys already been playing. Those guys have been playing off season and overseas since the start of the year. So I mean, those guys are fully fit and ready to go. So that's the only issue. But I mean, let's not get it twisted. It's going to be 10v10 if you have Ladero and Messi on the pitch to start off the match. But yeah, obviously I would have Ladero in the midfield. I would have Sebas go to the left or right, whichever side that he's best more comfortable at, and then obviously Bassi on the opposite side. But I mean, but what I'm saying is just while I think that defensively, especially with all these question marks, because I mean, obviously, I would expect to see Eric back. Escobar came on. Came on as a sub in the first game, and I don't see why he wouldn't be starting the second game unless he's just really unfit. But I doubt that.
No, he should be that.
Yeah, and then obviously Griffin Dorsey, and then just depending, like you said, is it Barlow or is it Femi starting opposite side, Shevchenko. I think defensively we were good, but I mean, but look at who we're dealing with. We're dealing with Luis Suarez, who scored 20 goals last season. We're dealing with Fafa Pico. Well, I don't know if Fafa's injured because I saw him get injured last week. But let's just say he's available. Fafa has been a thorn in our asses since he's left us.
I haven't seen a highlight reel on Instagram for a week.
And obviously, they have a lot of attacking power and goals come from all over the place. Telasco Segovia, Prima, unfortunately, he's out there scoring goals as well, and all that good stuff. So I mean, you have a lot of great things. What's going on, Andres?
No, yeah, Telasco Segovia, my fellow countryman, but yeah,
he's also. I know Telasco. No, obviously, then. They find players. Look, the great thing about the good thing about when you have players with capabilities and standards of a Messi, Busquets, Suarez, Alba is that they bring everybody else's level up. That's what these special type of players, these DP type players that you bring in are supposed to do to a team. And this is why when I feel like the Hector Herrera loss is such a major blow to us because obviously we never replaced them properly. We haven't replaced them properly yet. But he brought the level of the whole team up a little bit, because he required a certain standard because of the level of play that he was accustomed to playing in Europe with Atletico Madrid and Porto and all that stuff. And players respect when you have that type of resume, But right now, obviously Arthur is going to do what Arthur can. But Arthur's a defensive mid. We can't expect nothing else from him besides trying, to spear the defense, which he did. Like I said, look, the two goals that Frisco scored against us, one was a blunder, and then the other one was just an open play on the counterattack. Right? You can't help what it was, and that's what it was. And unfortunately, it's a mistake that is going to happen, especially first game of the season. You're not as fit as you're supposed to be. You have sometimes a miscommunication, especially because, like I said, the people who we thought we were going to have on defense weren't there. It was different people who haven't had enough time to play with each other and to understand where they're going to be at and how they want things to happen and things of that nature. And another thing where I think is that we need to have a chat about is playing from the back. A lot of teams want to play from the back, but a lot of teams don't have the quality of player on the defensive side to play from the back. So, it should have been one of those things where like, hey, let's not try to play so much on the back, especially since the two center backs and the goalie, which Tarbor is first time starting for us as a starter, haven't had enough time together to kind of get that kind of chemistry going to understand who's going to be where and where they're going to be if we're going to play from the back. And obviously that bit us in the butt big time against Frisco with that Eric blunder and it being the easiest goal that Moose is going to ever score against us or he's ever going to have in his MLS career. But with that being said, do either one of you guys think we have an opportunity this week? I mean, obviously we're supporters, we're fans. We're on here doing this podcast. We're forever orange. I see Eric with the purple. I see Andres with the old school Dynamo with all the orange in the background. But I mean, this is my feeling right now. This is my feeling right now. This is me right now. I don't know when I'm going to see this guy. I want to see this guy.
Of course, always.
So Andres, what do you think, man? I mean, obviously Inter Miami, all the pedigree, the big players, all the big names. We'll see Beckham. We'll see the superstars out there. We might even see a Harden sighting because of everything that's going on. What do you think happens this weekend?
Anything can really happen. Like I feel like for Dynamo to succeed here, they're gonna have to play their best game with what they have.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Inter Miami is just so complicated because you can just be winning a game 5-0, and they're gonna come back and beat you 6-5. And really, what's gonna decide everything is just the midfield. We don't have to really talk about Messi and what he can do, but just the fact that if you're able to disrupt their midfield or just like able to disrupt their attack, you're gonna have a good chance of getting a result out of this game because the way their attack works, it really doesn't make any sense. Because defensively, they're just not really a good team in particular, but rather everything just comes down to their offense. Because one thing I always say is just like as long as Inter Miami scores all the goals, that's all they care about. They don't care about defense. They have all the weapons they need, and I feel like this is gonna be the type of game for us. And defensively, we also have to step it up. And I do agree with like what OSG mentioned earlier about the defense and all that. It really comes down to like Eric Svechenko. Hopefully, if he comes back, and I feel like Fabian Valdez is going to have another opportunity here to do something big.
Yeah, I mean it's a crazy component because usually, especially in MLS is a little bit more physical. So I mean the defenses aren't so the defensive level in MLS isn't that high, right? Most of the like high level players that come into MLS are offensive minded players, so that's why you have a lot of a lot of top goal scorers, 15, 20 goals a season, 25 goals a season or whatever. You rarely see any team average less than a goal a game and things of that nature because the defenses aren't that demanding, I guess, in this league. But with that being said, can we stop Miami from scoring 3-4 goals on this? Because for us to keep up with Miami, we literally have to score on every opportunity that we get, and we don't get that many opportunities. Especially from exactly. So especially from what I've seen game one, if we have to score. Like I know I saw Ponce missed that one shot that he when he was by himself and he just got he hit the ball wrong because he was kind of tilted wrong. He was on balance, so it went flying right across an open net. But you have to take advantage of those situations and make sure that you put that ball in the back of the net. OSG, I'm gonna ask you this, but is there really any way to have a close game where it's a 1-0 game in our stadium against a fully loaded, ready to go, running and gunning Inter Miami team?
How about a 2-1 Open Cup win minus Messi? Building blocks are right there a year and a half ago. This is a.
Oh man, but you're talking about that's a
completely different team. It is a different team. It's the same aspect, same mentality, same style. Miami,
but not same level.
Not same level of players, but this is MLS. Can they do it? So, will I be surprised if we come out with a win? Yes. Are we going to be competitive? Yes. Are we defensive No, we are
We
going to be
hope.
competitive. Are we defensive stout enough to do that? Yes. Are we going to make the same stupid mistakes we just seen against Dallas, where Bartlett makes the stupidest? Hey, that's not Tarble. Oh, fuck. Boom. And then Tarble coming out way too far on a mistake where Bartlow and Femi were just on their back legs and not ready to pace back and when it was expected. Two stupid mistakes. Dynamo could shoot themselves in the foot again. Can they beat Miami? Yes, absolutely. Can they beat Miami? We are a competitive team. You mentioned it. Will we finish in the final third? Who friggin' knows? We do not know how to break teams down. The only advantage is Miami will push and counter. Can we turn around and break it back upon them and counter it, recounter the counter? I don't know, man. I'm hopeful. I'm always the optimistic soccer guy. OSG, you can read it how you want to be.
Always.
I'm all the old soccer guy, optimistic soccer guy. That's why you play the friggin' game. That's why you bet on the friggin' game. You have to find a way to win the game. There is a way to win the game. This is the pros. So just to definitely shoot me down, there's zero chance we beat Miami is absurd. But I give you the doors. There, yes, there is a way. I'm not sure we can do it though, but I think Miami does open the door a little bit more for us to be able to score more goals, and this will be a shootout kind of a game, not a 1-0, 2-1 win. It's gonna be one of those stupid games. It's just because.
Look, I might be calling you out of your mind, Sakurai. But I mean, like, you know, would I be happy with a shootout where, like, let's say, for example, if Miami ends up beating us 4-3? Yeah, because I can take something good out of that because I can see, oh, the Dynamo are capable of scoring 3 goals. Like, oh, so let's just obviously Miami's a whole different level of club right now in MLS, but I mean, but we're not facing Miami
Right,
type
that's
level
style
teams
versus style.
week in week out. So that gives me optimism as far as like, okay, they show me that they can score because game one they didn't show me that they can score. They show me that we're gonna have offensive issues and we're gonna lack chemistry. Unless there's something special from somebody individually, like I said, like a Jack McGlynn from him scoring from outside from 30 yards out, or whatever, something like that happening, which I would gladly welcome. But I mean, but we can't rely on those type of goals week in and week out, right? We need to have a style of combating and combinations and passes and getting into the box and attacking and making sure we put the ball in the back of the net. But so I can come out with some optimism if it's a shootout against Miami. Now, if it's a thumping where it's 5-0 Miami or 5-1 Miami, then I'm looking at this like, oh shit, I'm sorry, the front office is gonna have to take some blame for this too because it's like, yes, I mean the club is gonna come out there and compete as much as they can, but they can only compete to the level of talent that they have on the pitch. And these players that we have there, I mean, obviously they're talented and we love them. Don't get me wrong, no disrespect to anybody on the Dynamo. I mean, we love y'all. We're forever orange, but their talent level is their talent level, and unfortunately, right now, like I said, our talent level isn't up there. I mean, we can all agree the talent level of this squad is less than what it was at the end of last season from the Seattle game in the playoffs. You know, and unfortunately, by not having a more proactive off season and being more like, hey, we need to get these signings in. If we're going to get these players out, we need to get players in. Have the type of deal. We're in the situation we're in right now where we can be looking at 0-2 at home, no points, devastating goal difference depending on the type of game that happens, and who do we have to blame for that? You know, that's what we're facing here, unfortunately. Andres, I'll ask you, man, if you know there was a little bit of a rumor that that the Dynamo are looking into a DP10, maybe signing him here the last couple of days of the this window, which I highly doubt. But I mean, they said they're looking into it. Just like I mean, I'm looking at DP10 players all the time. Every time I turn on TV and
It's
watch
no, it's
EPL, La
no
Liga, whatever.
news. It's no new news. But look, come on.
So I mean, but hey, what happened to the
No,
optimism?
hey,
Guy?
what have I been telling you for 6 months or for 3 months? The summer signing, and it's the same thing we've been told the entire time. We would like to get a DP10 before then, and if it happens, it happens. It's the same shit, the same news every day. SSDD. When we're not getting a DP10 until the freaking summer, we got to suck up and quit dwelling over it and quit trying to draw every little nose over it.
I agree. We got to deal with what we have, and this
It
is the team
does
that we
suck.
have.
Yes, I agree with you. It does suck. We would like to have the person in hand to make us to get over this hump that we're at. We suck. We can't score, and we're not going to be able to score. And Miami team comes in and attacks against us full fledged, allows us to score because there ain't nobody defending the friggin' goal. It doesn't open up the door to make us think, okay, we're different than we are. But man, it does suck. Yes, we do need that DP10. I am also more open for the better realm of, are we going to be better over in the long haul, or are we trying to just hurry up and do it now and maybe miss and maybe just not hit it right? And I've always been for, Pat says wants to hit it right, hit it right, hit it right. And I'm hoping for hit it right. Asher's been talking lately on socials and saying we're finally getting over the what we've been left behind with the aspects of the financial situation and the just the gam and the tam and not having none of it and being behind the market between everybody else, and you can't build a team because of it. And they're finally getting over that aspect of it. Now they're able to build a team, and now they're getting the Ted saying you can spend the money. So we're getting there. It's a lot of people are not patient enough, or don't read into it, or just don't believe what the words say. It's just hard for me. I listen more, I understand more, or not understand more. That's not the word to use. I take more into context of the words, what they're saying to me. I try to look into the long haul, and I believe what we're doing is we're building a better team for the better long haul, and I'm not sacrificing the now to make us better. What we had before 05, 06 for the until 12, 13, until Beckham came in. We need to get back to that and just keep this history, bring this history back, and that's what Pat is trying to do and Ted's trying to do. And I'm being patient. I'm being a little more patient, and I'm throwing everything under the bus after we went through for the past 9 years, and that's what a lot of people are doing.
Yeah,
Jorking my ass.
Andres, I appreciate the outrage and the rant. Obviously, don't get me wrong, man. I do appreciate it. It's just the passion of a fan,
It
right?
goes everywhere.
And
For all of us,
and
yeah, it goes everywhere
sucks,
for all
yeah.
of us. I believe in
Yeah.
your passion, his passion, their passion. I believe in everybody's passion, and everybody has the right to speak their mind and enjoy their passion of it. And I get it. It's just the outright aspect of trying to even throw Pat under the bus and just like get rid of him already after so much of what. There's just so much more to this that he's done for this club, and warranted the extension, and just to throw him under the bus so soon and so unwarranted. It's it blows my mind. But again, my opinion. Well, we all have the same passion. I get it, and I respect everybody's passion. Just not when it's so blatantly agendaed.
Yeah. Andres, obviously, aside from somehow winning the game against Miami this weekend, what is the best outcome that we can get from this weekend's game against Miami and Messi?
It's gonna be a result considering all the circumstances, because I feel like OSG has the. I feel like he has like the all the thoughts of everyone right now, especially the passionate fans. When it comes up, we're trying to get onto the next step or the next level, really. And we're just not there yet. And I feel like this offseason was just like so slow and didn't really answer a lot of questions, and to the point that fans feel that way. Even though the front office has been very vocal when it comes to why does the roster look like this? Why did we transfer out Achiachi and Coco? And what the DP signing is? And particularly a highlight that I have to bring out is that Asher did answer questions when it comes to how the roster is right now and how close we are to just be competitive again. And I'm a huge believer in Pat and Asher and what they do.
Yeah.
Ever since they won and they have the results out there. Regardless of what happens on Sunday, like I'm still gonna be believing in them because they've already put out results.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're still missing out some of the attacking players that really helped us get up to the next level. But at the end of the day, I feel like we could have done more in the offseason. Like even though there's still so much that happens behind the scenes that we don't know about. And yeah, like it's just kind of disappointing that we're in this situation and we start with the wrong foot in the first game, and we have like a bigger test coming up against one of the best teams in the league in terms of results from last year. Obviously, defending Supporter Shield champions and all that. So it's just something to keep in mind because it's going to be a tough game. And maybe one that Dynamo can just put out a statement on after.
And real quick, hindsight, we win that game against Dallas. This is a different story. Granted, it's the same off-season story. It's still the same questions needed to be answered by Pat and where's that DP10 and all that good stuff. But if we would have won, it would have been a little bit of less little bit pen. Yeah.
Oh no, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, the biggest medicine to arranging disappointed fan base is winning. But before we move on to the next thing, let me play a little bit of devil's advocate here for the fan base, just to be on the fan base side. Obviously, Pat and Asher, from my standpoint, have bought themselves grace period for the last 2.5 years that they've been here. Obviously, the last 3 years have been great as far as bringing in a player like Ache, lifting the U.S. Open Cup, making the playoffs back-to-back years. The type of players that we brought in, and obviously now with the type of transfers that we've made outwards with selling Coco and Mikael and all that good stuff. So it's a lot of good stuff going on. The only concern, I think this is where the fan base gets a little confused, especially the casuals, not the ones that have like the knowledge like OSG and Andres. I think this is where it gets a little bit more of a, I don't understand why this team does this and we can't do it. Because you see a team like Portland, Portland's trying to give it a Evander. They signed their DP10, which is Da Costa, and as soon as they sign him, Evander goes to Cincinnati, and then Evander comes to Cincinnati, and Acosta gets to go to Frisco. Right after Frisco, they go sold Velasco. So it's back-to-back things that happen for several amount of clubs that happen in a sequence and a proper amount of time where they were able to set their clubs up and have the players come in that they needed prior to the season starting. And where unfortunately for us, where we let go most of our backbone, we let go of our starting DP superstar player Ache. We let go of CONCACAF player of the year in Coco, our starting center back and Mikael, our starting goalkeeper Steve Clark is gone. 4 veteran big presences. And none of them were replaced properly. But that's just playing the devil's advocate for now. Your fan base.
It's like the flu. Every player that's available is every player available for the Dynamo, bro. It's like the flu.
But what I'm saying is, like, you can understand the frustration from a fan base where you lose such big pillars of your playoff contending teams, and you don't replace them properly, and you see all these other teams doing all these things in a quick amount of time, because they got the monies and funds available, whatever. But we're selling players and we got funds. Why aren't we doing it too? But we'll let it be at that.
We don't know. Guys, you say that let me like that. We do have time. You do not know what goes behind the scenes, and players are also involved in those opportunities. McGlynn was just put on the market like a week. Instantly because of the new rule, and then we just instantly jumped on it and won that market. You don't know if we were available or not in grabbing somebody. You don't know, and that will never come out. Ronaldo signed with Saudi. You only heard one other team was available. You didn't hear like, okay, the Dynamo were available. It's like it should have been us because we thought of it and should have been us. And so it's Evander could have been us and belongs here. And even though we know Evander does not belong here, he would have been great on the team, but he would not have been great for the team. So it's just like it's so many different things and so many different aspects and so many intangibles and everything. But you never know what happens behind the scenes because they don't release all that shit and they don't tell us. We were interested. We did talk to their agent, but the agent's only going to talk to LA and Columbus and Cincinnati, and then those two turned around and made some, but yeah, I get you. You're right. I guess we move.
All right. Anyway, I mean, look, listen. We did have 2 new players come into the Dynamo system. Unfortunately, not for the Dynamo first team. To a center back and a goalkeeper, which are 2 positions of need that we just mentioned. We do need Felipe Andrade, who we spoke about the last couple of shows, the Brazilian center back from Fluminense, and Pedro Cruz. I forgot where he comes from. I know he's a Brazilian. Is he a Brazilian too as well? Andres? I don't know if you can.
Yes.
Yeah. So 2 Brazilian players coming in, more likely for Dynamo Dos. They'll get to start there, and depending on how they progress during that time period, maybe we'll see them down the line with the first team. But any thoughts on finally having Felipe Andrade here? I know we've been talking about him the last couple of shows. Andres, any thoughts on that? And Pedro Cruz, I don't know if you guys have seen anything or heard anything about him. What do you think this kid brings to the fold as far as the goalkeeping situation is with the Dynamo? Andres?
Yeah, obviously, when it comes to those, Asher's well aware of the rules that are in place. And we've been hearing a lot when it comes to Felipe Andrade and coming into Houston. He was probably going to be featured more with the first team because it's a position that we need.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, the news that he was going to go to those, it gave me 2 impressions. Like, one, obviously, he might be getting more playing time there. But the other one, and the big one, is just really the fact that he's going to be with those. I'm sure the Dynamo are going to be signing him on a short-term deal a few more times already because of roster regulations and all that. It comes down to like his salary and all that. It may not match the first teams. That's why he's in those in the first place.
Remember, lesser restrictions this season
like
for those players being brought up to the first team. Lesser restrictions.
Yeah. Also, I think it's because you gotta catch him up on fitness and obviously the system that we're running here and stuff like that. So you gotta give him game time to get to progress quickly and get to fitness level. And anything on Pedro Cruz that you might want to add, Andres?
Honestly, for Pedro Cruz, I haven't seen a lot of highlights about him yet. I just know that he was a full transfer, and it's a position that we need for those. So obviously, it's just good to keep a look on him to see if he's good. But yeah, everything that they study, I trust so far. So we'll see how this one turns out.
So going back to Felipe, supposedly there's obviously a buy clause if you want to buy him for $5 million, but I think Asher came out and said that that number was a bit far fetched and it's a little bit lesser than that. I don't know how much more less. Obviously, we don't know. He can't disclose that information. But obviously, if we're gonna think about purchasing him outright, he would have to show us something this season to make sure that we want to have him come back. Unless we can get him on another short term or another year loan, depending on with obviously an option to buy or whatever the case may be. However, they want to figure that out. So. I mean, I do think that Felipe Andrade will be playing with the Dynamo pretty soon. I think we have one international spot available. I think they want to keep that open, obviously, depending on, obviously if they're able to somehow bring in that DP10 before the window closes or whatever. But obviously he's going to have to start at D2. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see how his progression goes.
We have 6 internationals.
Hopefully he can. Well, I saw 7 the little thing that he had on the
Was it 6 or
well, I
7?
don't know.
It's 6 internationals, but we have
I
7
thought it was
spots.
7.
We have
But
seven.
anyway,
We have
I could be
7
mistaken,
spots,
but
6 international players. So we do have a spot open to
Yeah.
use. Andrade will, like you said, we'll get the minutes at Dose, and we'll play with Dose. And he's been here with the team. He played last game, and supposedly he even scored a goal in the Dose game against Austin 2, hosted here in Houston with Sebastian Rodriguez getting the assist. So he's going to get those minutes, and it's deserving because you're not going to get him for the first team. And why bring him in? He gets a 1 year full loan. 1 year full loan. So we have till December to utilize him and see if he fits in. Just like Mikel. Mikel came in, started with Dose, 500K. We bought his ass for 500K, and now look what we did. This guy's kind of the same type. He's the same athletic player, comes from Brazil. A lot of similarities in the two. He's obviously not Mikel, but he could grow to be Mikel. Mikel came into nothing, went for Dose, bought for cheap. Look at him now. Here we are making 6 million plus 20% sell on. So I'm very high up on Andrade. I hope he comes in and he's already looking good for what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they're going to put a couple $1 million for him to buy him outright. So I'm hoping that he's quick on his feet. Before we go, guys, any predictions? I mean, obviously we want to get our predictions in for the Miami game. We didn't do that. So OSG, I'll go with the optimistic old guy here, old soccer guy here. So we'll see what he comes out with. What do you think happens
I think
this Sunday?
It is a loss, and I think it's a Miami win 2-1, and yeah, I think it is going to be a close game. I don't think we're getting our ass beat or beaten out. I do think Miami will score for us first. Either we score second or we score last. But yeah, it's going to be one of those games you still are frustrated. I don't think it's going to be a huge mistake like it was last game. I think just Miami just earns it, deserves it, and it's just going to be a tough battle. But I think we minimize the pain.
Andres?
It's going to be a 3-3 draw.
Wow.
Somehow we just find our way through because Miami it's Miami. They're going to find their scoring ways, but somehow they just like.
I hope there's a Dorsey hat trick for the win.
And
I want to know who scores the 3 goals.
Dorsey's involved, I'll say. So I'm gonna do something crazy here because obviously Dorsey gets 1 goal, and Ponce gets another one, and then Aliyu scores a 3rd one.
Aliyu Army showing up. Aliyu Army showing up. Let's see if they can do it. Aliyu Army. Hopefully.
I'm gonna take all the blame after.
Blame it on one
Sunday. We'll see.
3-3. I wish I had as much optimism as you did, Andres. 2-1. That sounds. I'm gonna go 3-1. Miami. Unfortunately,
we've talked him down for 5-1.
I think. Yeah, right. So I mean, 3-1 Miami. Obviously, Miami right now is they're focused. I think last season they thought they were just going to walk to MLS Cup, and when it didn't happen for them, I think they came back this year. They reloaded, obviously, and then when you have Messi as your leader and Suarez up top, and the leadership of Busquets and Jordi Alba, and then the additions of the new players that they brought in, it's a steep hill to climb. So 3-1 into Miami, unfortunately, but it should be a very competitive game, man. I'll be kind of focused. I'll be kind of happy to see the stadium just be packed out and see how the atmosphere is going to be in that stadium. So should be a good look for us. But yeah, guys, before we close out the show, there's something actually I want to get to, man. And OSG and I just don't know about it, but I'm gonna have this little moment to myself and the crowd out there, the people. All
right, let's pray.
So before we came on the show, I saw a couple of photos running around on socials of the Hector Herrera mural being vandalized with a little red nose on his thing or whatever. Look, whatever your opinion was about the Hector Herrera era, that's your opinion. Whatever. That's not what I'm here to discuss. What I'm here to discuss is just the pitifulness of people, man. Like somebody worked hard on that mural.
Not
Somebody
somebody.
put their sweat
Liz.
and tears.
Liz.
No, yeah, that's all I'm gonna get to. That's all I'm gonna get to. Somebody put their hard work and full effort into making that thing happen, and we all remember that day, the videos and all stuff that came out there in that day, and it was just a wonderful atmosphere, and obviously OSG mentioned Liz, and shout out to Liz. Hope everything's going well with her. I had the opportunity to interview her right after she did the mural a couple of years back, and she's a wonderful person, and hopefully everything's going well with her. But yeah, man, just I'm not feeling that. Obviously you have different ways to show your disapproval for him, or maybe it's not him directly, or maybe maybe it's maybe a hit towards the front office, or whatever the message you were trying to do, and that what you could have done it differently. You didn't have to go and vandalize somebody's hard work and do all that stuff, man. That's for me. It's a bitch ass move, and I'm not scared to be on here. You see my face. I'm not hiding from nobody, whatever. And for those who know me, I don't hide from anything that I say. If I said it, I meant it. So whoever did that, man, unless it's just somebody from Achiacha's wife's family or whatever, but that's a different story, right? It was a bitch ass move, man. Bitch ass move. So. But with that being said, tell
Dallas
people how they can get in touch with us, the socials, all that good stuff.
Right. No, yeah, like clowning around, but no, yeah, like, hey guys, so since day one, as always, and obviously since the start of the season, we've been covering just really everything that comes around the Dynamo, Dash, and those, and we'll keep doing it no matter what. At Dynamic Foxtrot on Twitter, now X, also on Instagram and Blue Sky, and also on Twitter and X, we do have the Noodle Tiempo handle, handled by OSG over here. We're gonna be bringing you all the updates throughout the season as much as possible. We're gonna get you all the content shared there as well, and also something else that we also launched this season was the return of Fox in the Box, our weekly newsletter that is up and running right now. We do have the upcoming issue coming up shortly. We do have a lot of content to share, so it took a little bit longer than usual. But it's still happening. It's going to be once a week. Pretty much going to round up all the content that we did as well as some of the news that happened. And, of course, last but not least, our podcast that you're listening to right now, we're publishing now like probably 2 or 4 episodes a week. And we just love doing it. And whenever you get your podcast, just look up Noodle Time. You're going to see it there. And on video form, you're also going to find us on YouTube. You search Foxtrot TV. We're going to be there no matter what, so make sure you subscribe and give us some feedback. Like, subscribe. It really helps us a lot. And also check out Goals TV, goals.tv/Dynamic Foxtrot. That's also another way to see us, our content in video form, and also other soccer creators around the space. Very useful to find other people if you're interested in getting to know other creators. But everything is right there for you guys. And as always, we're going to be putting out content all season long. So
make sure to catch me on the Dash Dispatch every week. The new Dash Dispatch every week. Follow on your use in Dash. I wore purple tonight for them because we released the new perp today, and I love it. Yep. The Cosmic Space jersey.
Yeah, great kit. Yep. Thank you guys. Like I said, as always, we appreciate the support and the feedback, guys. With that being said, Beach is up, man. We'll see you Sunday, Lot C. If you want to come out and hang out. We with the Sarge will
be there. Yeah,
tailgate, guys. Yeah.
You're a little plush.